Yeah, it's your boy Hezeleo tapping in, man. Welcome you to a live edition of the Trillgear.biz. And all my regular people, they already know what I do, you know what I mean? Towards the health, I take me a little swig of that ACV. I call it liquor, but it's really just apple cider vinegar. And it always got a bite to it. It always got a hell of a bite to it. But yeah, man, today I want to talk about some things that's troubling. It's very troubling. You know what I mean? Lately, I've been seeing a lot of videos surfacing, very, very disgruntled children. And when I say children, I'm talking about under the ages of 15. You know what I mean? Here recently, I've seen videos surface of students and teachers having physical collisions. You know what I mean? When I was coming up, I seen that happen before, but not so often. In elementary school, I seen it happen, you know what I mean, once or twice throughout my whole duration at elementary. In middle school, I seen it take place, I want to say about 3 times throughout my tenure at middle school. Now, when I got to high school, I seen it take place at least twice. You know what I mean? But I wasn't there long. I wasn't at middle school long. I was sent to an alternative school in middle school. I actually had to go do my time at the alternative school that took me through going to high school. I was still in prison by the time I made it to high school. So I made it to high school as an inmate, you know what I mean? Because I was sentenced to alternative school in middle school, and it lasted all the way until I got to high school. So like I said, in high school, I seen it take place at least twice. But lately, on the internet, I'm viewing multiple videos of student-teacher collision. And it's not, how could I say, it's not like people are holding back. This is full-fledged UFC style collision, teacher versus student. What's provoking these incidents? I have no clue on the backstory. But like I said, back in the day in my time, it happened, but it ain't happened so often. And it ain't happened so violently the way it's happening now. Again, we don't know what's provoking the incidents. But the parents and the school's officials need to get down to the bottom of it, man. Because it's a terrible issue. It's enough them teachers ain't being paid a lot, you know what I mean? And I know some of them teachers could be disgruntled, disinfectful, and all sorts of things. But at the same time, man, they trying to go do a job. And while they trying to go do a job, they getting beat up on by students. That's terrible. And it's terrible that a little child leaving home have to go to school and get beat up on by a teacher. Because we don't know who at fault. We don't know what's causing these incidents, so we can't say the child is to blame or the teacher is to blame. It's just something that somehow gonna have to come to a halt. Somebody gonna have to get to the bottom of it and figure it out. Because it's a very terrible situation. Take my little vitamins. So here recently, I seen an incident where an older male teacher was having a chair throwing match with his students. And it wasn't something fun going on. This was a defensive move to defend himself against a kid that was throwing chairs at him. And these are plastic and metal chairs. So this is not like if you get hit with one of these, oh, okay, you good. Nah, you get hit in the wrong place with one of them chairs, it's gonna split something open. Let's say you get hit in the head with it. It's gonna split some of that up. It's gonna split some of that smooth open. You know what I mean? And he throwing it with full force as a grown man. Man, that's a dangerous situation. Have you ever seen like chairs being thrown at a club or something like that, or you've been around something like that, you know how dangerous that is. You know how people leave with cuts and bruises and, need stitches and hospitalization after that. So what could happen? 1 minute. What could happen in a classroom that would warrant that type of conduct from either side? What is happening in that classroom where the teacher has to resort to physically picking up a chair and throwing it to defend himself? What is happening where that student feels they need to stand up and physically grab a chair to defend themselves against their teacher? As parents, there's this thing where we have to take care of our families. And to do that, we have to be occupied with trading our time for money. And a lot of times, a lot of us don't have control over our time. So it's on a consistent movement of you get ready to go by this time. You really ain't got time to talk to that child because you're trying to get them out of the door. You trying to get out the door, you going that way, they going that way. And maybe they got something to tell you, but maybe you ain't got time because you don't want to be late. So this whole little simulation takes place over and over and over again. This scheduling, you know what I mean? And then when it come time for you coming home from work, the child coming home from school, practice, or whatever it is, there's a small period of time where back in the day, families sat down and they had dinner and they talked. These days, I don't think that's happening so much. I think when they come home, they're on their devices. you're on your device and they're eating whatever trash that looks pretty in a packaged container or box or popping it in the microwave. So there's no round table discussion or sit down and speak about how was your day? What are you going through? How are you? That's not happening. You're fortunate if you can come home in time enough before you have to eat, take a shower, you know what I mean, go to sleep and do that all over again. And then you and the kids having no kind of communication. And a lot of times it's a bunch of single parent households where this is taking place. So the kids are really getting no real parental guidance. The kids are walking around with very heavy decisions and different things in their mind that they probably feel like they can't talk to an adult about. And then actually having the time to talk to them, it's not happening. That's a fortunate situation. The flip side is a very unfortunate situation where the parent is irresponsible, don't have the time, don't care, too focused on either something outside of themselves, maybe a relationship, maybe substance, or maybe mental health issues, or maybe even poverty, unstable. You know what I mean? A very shaky foundation. So now the child can't come with the small problems that he have at school or that he going through, because at home on the home front, there's more major problems that he see most of the time mama stressing about. So now he has to walk around with these heavy issues on his mind, and then only exposure he has is to other people his age, his teachers, and then social media. So things spiral out of control. What do we wind up having? We wind up having a very unruly class of children who not gonna listen because they don't have to listen at home, so why would they listen to you? But again, these incidents that I've seen, I'm not saying this kid wrong or that teacher wrong, because I don't know. I don't know all the inside of the incident. But that brings me to my last incident that I witnessed that made me make this video. It inspired me to make this video about real life children of the corn. That movie is how could I say? It's a very aged movie. You probably wasn't fortunate enough to have seen that movie unless you how could I say? Around my age, you know what I mean, or near my age, or like to look back at some of the films that came out previously, because it was one of those type films that you might would go dig up and be like, I heard of this. Let me go see what it was all about. You know what I mean? So it would be one of those type films. So in that film, what's being depicted is something happens to the children and they become very evil. I think they were in the cornfield doing whatever. And somebody sprayed some, I don't know, some chemtrails on them. And all of a sudden they just was on a whole different level. And they was killing up all the adults and anybody they felt like. And that's me paraphrasing because I seen the movie so long ago, I really don't remember why they started turning up. But all I know, they just start turning up and crashing out. And they all was looking a certain kind of way. So I was witnessing another video of appeared to be a grandmother, had to be in her late 60s. Had to be in her late 60s or early 70s. A very fragile, frail, older lady in her robe and house coat may be taking place in her home. It appeared to be she was having maybe a disagreement with maybe her grandkid. I don't know. This had to be somebody personal to her. This has to be somebody very personal to her. It has to be maybe her grandchild. So the grandchild appears to be around 10 to 12. Kind of hefty little kid, 10 to 12. Then there's another little kid walking around looking like he around 7 to 9. But then there's another little girl walking around who appears to be around 12 to maybe 13. I'll say 12 to 13. But there's an adult, because I can hear a voice. There's an adult filming. And while the adult is filming, the little kid around 7 to 9 kind of just spaced out, walking around. And then the bigger kid, the little boy, up to about 12 years old, he's addressing the older lady. And he's in a really high-pitched rage voice. And then he attacks. He kicks her. He kicks her very hard. And she falls back. So as she attempts to get up, he kicks her again. And he's saying something while he's kicking her. He's aggressive and he's saying his voice is screeching. He's very angry at this older lady. This older lady is trying to get her balance, and she, hey, get off me, this and that, this and that. She trying to do whatever she can do, but this is a very old woman. Now, after he kicked her the second time, he hurls himself towards her, and she's able to grab him. So when she grab him, they get into a little tussle or wrestle deal, and she's holding him, and she's asking who's ever filming, get this child off of me. Who's ever filming is standing far back, and they're saying, stop, don't. Oh, don't do that. Stop. You better stop that. But they steady filming. So when they fall to the couch or whatever it is in between a chair and the couch, the younger boy starts to attack the older woman also. The older little girl joins in a little bit, and for a brief moment, the three kids are jumping on this old lady. And she's asking for help. She's asking whomever is filming her, could you get these kids off of me? I can hear the bigger little boy starts to say, you're not stronger than me. You can't beat me. He is actually mentally focused on challenging this lady. I don't know if the lady is his grandmother, but I'm thinking the way, you know what I'm saying, I analyze things. It got to be his grandmother. But I'm going to look for the story to figure it out, because I can't see that happening. That blew me away. Like, somebody is watching these little kids attack this older lady who hold the name somebody's grandmother. She actually hold the name grandmother. This is how old she is. And I'm pretty sure that's her grandkids. When you arrive at the stage in life to be a grandfather or a grandmother, that is a crown being placed on your head. You are being crowned. Now, everybody ain't, you know what I mean, the idea of what they think grandma or grandpa, what they're supposed to look like or what they're supposed to be. But still, that's who she is. and these children are unruly, attacking her. I don't know what initiated or what got it started, but that shit is dead wrong. That shit is dead wrong, man. Now, in this case, I would blame these children parents to raise some ignorant little kids like that will cross that line and disrespect and viciously and violently attack their own grandmother. Now, discipline is much needed in this case, because what those children did, that could start like an eruption of emotions in so many people. When you say grandmother, that person is attached to their own children, their own brothers and sisters, their other grandkids, so forth and so on. So think if
Power off.
if that grandmother has a son who's standing on business and he at work somewhere taking care of his business, and he gets a call that his mother was violently attacked by his nieces and nephews. And then he gets directed to the video where he could actually see it himself. What kind of emotion is that going to invoke in that man? To see his mother being attacked by her own grandkids. Something inside of these kids' mind and in a heart won't let them think clearly to not move like that. Some adult in their life has not gave them discipline and taught them you don't make no move like that. That's how somebody can get hurt. And I'm pretty sure, as frail as that older lady was, she bruised up. She hurt. I'm not going to judge her character. I don't know her or the children. But I know what I saw was dead wrong. And this is just something that was caught on cell phone. I'm pretty sure it's plenty of this that have taken place in different households at different times over and over again, but it just wasn't captured by a cell phone. But this incident was. Now, I'm not saying these kids need to be harmed. They do need a good old-fashioned, I'm talking about, they need a man. Old-fashioned, I'm talking about belt. I'm talking about, do you understand? I'm talking about, do you understand me? I'm talking about old Baptist, Southern fried chicken, puree, soda. Hey, man, they need some discipline. I like that sound right there. That sound right there always means something good. But them children need some discipline. I'm talking about every last one of them. No, they don't need to be locked up. They don't need to be locked up. Because they're going to get trapped in that moment, and they're going to repeat that same conduct over and over again until they're able to graduate from being in the little kiddie jails to going to prison. But it have to stop now. The adults in their life, if there is any strong black men in those children's family, today they need to sit them children down and give them, I'm talking about some thorough discipline and some thorough understanding. And after that, they need to check with them. How y'all doing today? They need to go pick them up. Take them on a ride. You doing good today? You got good grades today? Reward them. First of all, though, discipline them, restrict them. But check on them. Check on their mental state. Check out what they going through. Find out what's happening in that household to where them children can have that much rage, that much disinfect, that much anger to attack a woman of that caliber, of that age. And again, it might be their grandmother. But if the adults don't come off of their ball and chain or their devices that got them locked in, we can just keep on seeing this type of stuff. But it ain't supposed to be if it's a man present. If it's some kind of woman, if it's a woman present. I ain't talking about a female in the anatomy and the nature. I'm talking about a woman, a virtuous woman that stand on business, that have self-respect. Them kids would be razor, I ain't gonna say razor bladed. Them kids would be stenching cord up. Them kids would have stenching cord whips from their ankles to their elbows, baby. Because that type of trash cannot be tolerated. My children have more leeway these days than I ever would have had before in my life. But when they speak ill to their grandmother, it is a natural instinct for me to, hey, don't do that. The way we were raised in that word. We went to church even when we didn't want to. We had to be off in there. And we was taught a disobedient child days will be shortened. A disobedient child days will be shortened. You children and younger adults, y'all gotta be careful how y'all handling your parents. You are dimming your own light. You are shortening the own length of your own life. But today I see that was some real life children of the corn type stuff. As a man, if you come by this video, as a woman, if you pass by this video, hearken to my words. Stop. And you think, are my children getting away with so much? Do my children need to talk to me? At least 3 to 4 times during the week, after school, work, or whatever obligations that are there. Sit down. Sit down. Put them devices away. Cook. Talk to them children. When the last time you hugged? When was the last time you physically embraced and hugged your child for no reason at all? When after the last time you got on the floor with your children and got down on their level and got in their business? Not judge, but heard what's going on at school. Who is this, that? Okay, they did what? Oh, okay. We too grown. We too adult. We too wrapped up in our own circumstances and situations. And we letting cell phones, laptops, and apps and social sites raise our children while we're feeding them trash food every day. Trash food every day. Ain't no break. It tastes good. It's convenient. Let me shut their mouth and feed them something. Boy, we all on a crash course. We all on a crash course. Somebody got to know to pull the brakes and stop. Are you going to keep raising more unruly, disgruntled, disinfectful children? Real life children of the corn.